My name is Nia McAllister, and I'm the Public Programs Manager at the Museum of the African Diaspora in San Francisco. And as we gather here today, it is essential that we acknowledge the times that we're living in and the current circumstances that we're navigating. MoAD stands with Black Lives Matter in recognizing and condemning the ongoing systemic violence against Black people. We honor and mourn the senseless murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, Casey Goodson Jr., Patrick Warren Sr., Andre Hill, Daunte Wright, Anthony Thompson Jr., Ma'Khia Bryant, and so many others who've lost their lives from police brutality and racial injustice, including those whose names we do not know. We want to acknowledge that MoAD's commitment to racial justice is ongoing, and as such, we will continue to say these names, to hold space, and to honor these victims. I also want to acknowledge the physical spaces that we're occupying. Though we're gathered virtually, many of us are settlers, immigrants, or descendants of those forcibly brought to this continent. And our institutions were founded upon the exclusions and erasures of the indigenous peoples on whose lands we're located. It is with deep respect that MoAD acknowledges that even in virtual space, we here in what we call San Francisco and Oakland reside on unceded Chochenyo and Ramaytush Ohlone lands. And we thank these indigenous communities of the Bay Area and beyond who've stewarded this land throughout the generations. We encourage everyone to learn more about the native lands that you currently occupy by visiting nativeland.ca. Now, today's space, this open mic, is a place for all of us to recognize our grief, our anger, our exhaustion, and also to find comfort and joy in each other's company. This is a space where we want to continue to amplify Black voices and make sure that everyone here feels welcome. So I just want to make sure we all center respect in this space when we are sharing our pieces and affirming each other. And now that we've been doing these virtual open mics for a while, we're shifting into this way of kind of interacting and recognizing each other's work. So while I ask everyone to stay on mute if you're not the person speaking, I do encourage you to put words in the chat that affirm each other's pieces. If there's lines that stand out that you hear tonight, to react, use air claps and snaps, any way to support the people who are coming up here and the vulnerability that it takes to share your work and your voice in this space. So I encourage everyone to be an active and supportive audience throughout the evening. And so we have our open mic lineup already set, and I'm about to put that in the chat as well. Each reader will have 4 minutes to share. And in between each reader, I will introduce that person's name. If for some reason the person isn't here, but they join later, we'll circle back and make sure they're on the lineup. About midway through, we're gonna have our featured performer tonight, which is Dante Clark, and we're very excited to have them here tonight. And following Dante's feature, we're gonna close out with our remaining open mic readers. And I believe those are all the logistics. I'm gonna put our lineup in the chat, and I actually know the first person on the lineup let me know they're on their way. So I'm going to move on to the second person. I would like to invite Makeda up to the mic to start us off.
I was counting on being the second person.
Oh, no.
So that means I only have 2 poems available right now. And they're brief, but today is the day to be brief. Okay, I'm Makeda. And the name of this brief poem is No. It happened in the garden first. Thunder. In the silence between blinding light and the roar of thunder. She held her breath and died a little. Under the influence of an incestuous hand, the filth of betrayal and scourging of innocence. The leash, the lash of shame, light flashing, breath stifled, breath stifled, a deep rumble. She died a little again. This one is titled Homeless. I see beautiful, mature women in the community. They are my age, born in the hopeful 1950s, teenagers of the revolutionary 1960s. They take good care of themselves. They are higher educated and proper, some call it class. They marry and stay married. They show up to important community events and religiously bring their yoga mats to class. They are usually quiet, reserved, tidy, orderly, sanitized. They go to buildings to meet God. They wear wraps and hats and would never wear blouses that show off their shoulders or skirts that flirt around the hem. I wear purple when the color of the day is pink. I sleep in clothes sometimes, and then I wear them the next day if I choose. I fell in love with a man who liked my morning scent and another who was just sitting on a bench. Through the years, anything that's about love brings me to tears. And when my heart aches, my love is pure shine. I have seen God, and I can't find the rest of it. But welcome to MoAD. I wasn't ready, but I'm good.
Thank you so much for being spontaneous and starting us off. But what you shared was really beautiful.
Thank you.
Next up, I would like to invite James Cagney up to the mic. Welcome, James.
Oh, hey, Nia. Hey, everybody. And blessings to you. I wanted to rush through two short poems real quick. This is called Ideas of Home. Amethyst-eyed peas in a trampoline of hot water, mixing bowls of copper pennies whipped to a froth of dollars at Christmas. Salon pink styling rollers, circus peanuts with a hanger, and deep fried transmission plugs at the church bake sale. Pubescent plums and nectarine trees nodding to the rhythm of a rain shower. A congregation of turnips in ecstatic worship of the sun, their green crowns giggling from gossip. Repair manuals like Black Bibles in Cadillac temples. Home brewed holy water and toasted bread forgives mineral rings of butter. As rioting hooves of thunder stomp the tundra of the sky, our hound dog begs our simmering fish tank for therapy, then dreams of swimming underwater with a pack of sea lions. Our living room's climate of iced blue cigarette smoke snags the air. Philodendrons drop climbing ropes of vines that sip pot liquor off greens. Imagine boxing gloves of defrosted ham hocks and a hot comb exorcism of gnats. Imagine your father dismounting a horse with no name, drunk on tears, speaking in a tongue of forgiveness. Our ideas of home vanish while we live it, like a gumbo pot reaching with its bony fingers your hand. The rice scooped from the church steps would be the only part of this marriage worth saving. And I'm gonna rush through this. Atmospheric arcades in an atrium of ash. Black holes barricade their secret compost of crushed cities in a crossfire of death documentaries, deliberately edited so that every execution ends in envelopes fanned out like fish scales or 5-card stud or geese gathered geometrically, herons hovering as for homecoming or hallucination. Invasive insects have made the inauguration inaccessible. A jigsaw of japonica petals justify knitting kite strings with kelp and knives lacerating a large amount of loose lemons. More metalhead machines, more muscular mirrors. It's our national nostalgia for natal narcotics or orphans overlooked in other parishes, prisoners in platform pumps of quartz under quarantine quilts, a quiet riot of rhythms, rage residue scrubbed from a skeleton of soot. In this timeline, their throats ululate under upturned umbrellas, very violent voices in the vestibule. Where have all the winos wandered? An X of spit marks the solo in the xenophobic xylophone. Some yahoos yapping in the yard about its Yankee zealot from Zion, all zonked out on zucchini. Thank you guys very much. Blessings.
Wow, thank you, James. You were
Powerful.
on fire, flying through the words.
Love that.
Thank you so much. Next up, I would like to invite Shauna Sherman. Welcome, Shauna.
Thank you, Nia. Can you hear me? Yep, okay, great. I've got a couple of short poems today. The first one's for my father. It's called Butterfly. I cling to his neck on the back of his butterfly as we bob over swells, splash into the future between sets. Sometimes I slip, and I am glad he taught me to float. As he opens his arms, flies, deltoids emerging, long-armed wingspan arching the way a cape billows under the wind. He lifts, plunges, navigates the water back to me, and I watch, treading my own air. The flying man, he just opened his arms and sailed. Faster than planes, in strokes he planed the salt slick Pacific. How did I forget? Today we drive to Kailua Beach on condition he doesn't have to swim. Fear near the break, talk of bombed fields and airstripped, 7 service awards from IBM. The state of the swell confused. He says, in a hurricane, you tape windows crisscross because the rain spears the glass horizontal. Nearby, a butterfly lands on the trunk of a tree. I say, Dad, shall I train my searchlight nearly vertical on that cloud? I say, you can alight on my deck. And the next one's just a short one, but based on the words from the runaway slave advertisements. It's untitled. She tied fluorescent ribbons in her hair while the sun burned ulcers on a young succulent plant. A bird works to build a nest, no concern for paycheck. Needles fall from a mother branch, land on another. Likewise, wind carries the copper-colored needle twirling, others green, tips browning from the center. One lands in her hair. Search the crust granite for raccoon tracks. Could there ever be too much information? What's known, what's unknown, turn to wonder. If it is written, it'll be written again. Air the sore, leave it open for faster healing. Think of Sue, who daily watched the schooner patrol the shore, departure, landing, 5 white sails buckling. Before she left, she gathered courage and things from the kitchen, bedroom, parlor, bound for the islands. The merchant conjured Poseidon, but he was on vacation. Salt water smarted her skinned fingers as they sailed. Thank you. So good to be here.
Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Shauna. Next up, I would like to invite Norm Maddox. Welcome, Norm. Looks like you got a lovely yellow chair there.
Yes, I got a yellow chair. And I have a couple of new pieces. And I'm gonna throw down here, okay? This is the first time I'm reading this. This is coming out as of the 1st. This is called, Is That Praise? They tell me, put on a skull cap, pull flaps down around your ears, tap down the sides of your swelling head turned sideways so you can fit through doorways. Starting to smell yourself, not talking about cologne. Wearing your ain't that fresh. They can't imagine my hat is a parachute that defies gravity. It fills with Gaiamundo's breath, lifts me at the speed of light. Silkscreen eyes blinded by vibrations. Tectonic plates tremble, imaginations quaking, horizons expand beyond binocular vision. Cavernous spaces fill with promise. They don't see how my hoodie fills like a sail, the wind at my back, lace up cinder blocks around my ankles, keep me chained to a ground that is no longer familiar underfoot, nor secure where memories of control no longer hold me. They ask me how I make my skin a suit of catch pockets and valves, breathe me forward, the direction of life, even blown off path is toward an unbeaten that goes nowhere we can travel to. The point when light sees darkest. No one hears a silent explosion, an ascending mushroom, irradiated love fused with love, embedded dormant for eons, plus the 17 years it takes Mundo to wake her locust. Cicada wings spin hurricanes across the deserts. Sand rains across the oceans. Winds spin, rising heat from warm seas. Clouds blown off your coffee barely cool the surface. Next piece. This piece started before all this happened. I was gonna meet up with you by the fountain in the park, hug you where you could hug me back in public, feeling the cool flesh, your earlobe, glancing my pursed lips, kissing that warm hollow behind your pierced ear. Was gonna see you at point blank range, close enough to inhale your musk, rising between our spaces, warm curves, moving mountains, irresistible currents to dive into, indifferent to the potential drowning. Was not dreaming of a pixelated facsimile of a cold screen made believe to be seen, stuck in a two-dimensional aisle sitting adjacent to you. I was gonna feel the shimmer in your eyes, the telescopic vista across my innerverse where only I can look. The glimmer across my face, only the holograph glow, a wiggle between diodes. Who knows? Looking for silver linings, even thousands of miles of separation might combust two flaming passions, charred by supernova, unidentified ashes blown to four winds. Constrictions on critical spaces where ships are normally built. Virtual proximity has illuminated 7 constructed 2-lane bridges, spanning the gaps between your chakras and mine. Undergirding, anchored deep enough to grow an equal sign between your expression and my expression, something greater than or equal to love. Peace.
Wow, thank you so much, Norm. It was so
Thank you
wonderful
for sharing, man. That was beautiful.
hearing those
Thank
new
you.
pieces. And I want to give a little preview shout out to Norm. Norm will be our feature on May 20th. So be sure to come back and hear Norm.
Oh my
next
gosh,
up,
thank you so much.
we're very excited. Next up, I would like to invite Raymond Nat Turner. Welcome, Raymond.
You on mute.
Okay.
There we
So
go.
yeah, I'm trying to get situated. I just got your message about switching the lineup.
Sorry to surprise you.
That's okay, no problem. So anyway, I'm gonna jam these 2 pieces. The first is called Police Terror Equals Support the Troops minus 1,000 times in blank. And you keep wondering how they kill our sons and daughters daily, leaving them lying in city streets for 4 hours bleeding out. You keep crying, the system is broken, and I keep screaming. It's as broken as a Bentley, hear it purring like a Lamborghini. Before they fire thousands of rounds protecting puppets, before they patrol plantations, police pipelines and mines, before they raise blocks, slaughter families, before they kill in Kabul, Baghdad, Mogadishu, Port-au-Prince, Da Nang, Hanoi, Hue, before they kill in countrysides for sport, cutting off fingers of the fallen and urinating on their bodies, before they kill from helicopters to relieve boredom, and from consoles and air-conditioned spaces, making bug splat of poor farmers, children, and grandmothers gardening okra. Names we'll never know, let alone say. And before they've ever killed 1,000 times in their minds, we let lethal language in our mouths. Support the troops, in harm's way, in harm's way. Boots on the ground, protect our freedom, make us safer. Thank you for your service. We parrot war profiteer propaganda, enemy combatants, high value targets, civilian casualties, collateral damage, and we murder our minds. Signature strikes, extraordinary renditions, enhanced interrogation techniques, ghost detainees, get mode. When their kill sets are perfected, they return six-figure assassins, hitmen with pensions, medical, dental, killing in yards, alleys, streets, jails, prisons, killing in living rooms, killing their ways to paid vacations and desk duties. Thank you for your service. And finally, this is called, I may have read it before, but it seems to never be out of fashion, unfortunately. Justice was served from warfare states' gaslit walks. Justice was served sweet and sour in pepper spray soup, tear gas gumbo, tears mixed with milk and milk of magnesia and crimson curry sauce. Served from warfare states' walks on beds of rubber bullets / flash bang grenades. Justice was served on baton bruised ribs, golf ball sized wounds, contusions, abrasions, and platters of plastic cuffs, eyeballs, teeth, reconstructive surgeries, rehabs on hunks of less lethal lies. Served with blistered feet, strained calves, and quads. Justice was served class struggle style from warfare states' gas-lit woks. Stir fry served from massive motion, steered up from below, garnished with shoe leather, sauteed streets over the planet. Justice was served on shards of glass in street heat salad, served by bold, brave, creative young chefs, aged in organizing, seasoned by marching months, succulent, simmering from class struggle. Justice was served in sizzling black bean sauce, rainbow charred, with white chocolate dessert, served by seasoned young chefs learning their craft, smelling fishy, five-sided solutions, culinary coercion, young chefs learning to rock the wok with tantalizing take-out menus. Justice was served from the poison blue soil of the world's greatest purveyor of violence, served scooped, flipped, and framed with flimsy charges, served furtively from rotten orchards, one bad apple at a time. Let's see.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Raymond. Always on the nose with your pieces. Next up, I would like to invite Carla Brundage. Welcome, Carla.
Thank you, Nia. I'm outside. Can people hear me okay? Great. I've had a week. 3 people I know died this week. One of them, Eric Jerome Dickey, our romance writer, bestseller. He may have had a reputation, but he was my friend. So I'm kind of gonna dedicate this reading to him, but not to the last poem. So I have a few short ones. First one is called Go All the Way In. My father crying on the phone. In my heart, urges arise uncontrollable to stop him. I will peel the skin from the bottom of my feet to stop your tears. The closing of your throat, life all smashed into one tone, knots in a voice box, knife through an Adam's apple. And the next one, Conversations with My Father. Back to the topic of the word whore. The one you lust after, the one you want to stake your territory, to claim, to own, to use, to subordinate. Not a whore, but not sexless. We weave in the middle of the two, tides low, with all my coral hanging out, waving seaweed, aroma of fish. And define wild yellowtail sushi. Born in the aquamarine sea, tangled in beautiful weed, flavorless. She must be broken, hooked, decapitated, heart wrenched out, sliced, placed on ice. This is when the flavor forms, her lifeless pieces on display. And to change the tone totally, in memory of Eric Jerome Dickey, one of the first poems I ever published. It's called Lips. Raymond might remember this one. It's a throwback. You have such big, beautiful lips. They make me want to scream. Give me a taste of them lips before you take them away, lips. Beautiful. How I shiver when they taste mine. I struggle not to identify with them big beauties. Soft, sweet, ice cream lips, dripping with honey lips. Pretending you don't see them, your precocious lips, jutting out, pouting, getting their way with and see what is you, beautiful you, lips that shine in the morning light. I want to touch with my hands, nose, mouth, thighs, legs, breasts, your beautiful lips. My lips are in love, agony for the sound of your heart, lips, love your beautiful lips. They make me spell all wrong. Beautiful. Thank you. I think Nia put me before Dante because we worked together on his new book. I was honored to work with Dante, who is to me such a beautiful and powerful person and voice, and this book is so amazing, and I know that Nia's holding it. I'm going to post the link where you can buy his book, and I'll pass it to Nia to introduce him. But I just want to send love out to Dante Clark when he comes up, and thank you again for letting me and Pacific Raven Press participate in your process, your beautiful process.
Thank you so much, Carla, both for your poems, as well as those wonderful words about Dante's work. And so I'm really excited. In just a few moments, I'll be introducing Dante, who is our feature this evening. I'm going to read a couple poems and then do the official bio for Dante and pass off the stage. So I think this poem I may have read last time, but I'm going to read it again. This is a newer piece entitled "Like Dust We Rise." Sunset plays upon my closing lids. Tomorrow's morning is just another day. We are whole before they claim we are no longer. But what pieces of us do they take when they make holes of our being? Riddled with empty space, we ride upon the air. We rise, we float, we make kites of our bodies, leave this place for good, leave this earth for a better world. We have new imaginations to build, new forevers to create. Let us breathe in and in and in, spin and dance in space and dance, and maybe we are all here together. And my second piece is another one I read all the time in this space, but I'm in the process of doing editing and submitting things. And so in this process of revision, I've rearranged this piece a little bit. So this reading maybe is more for me, just to hear how a poem sounds when it's in a new order, but I hope you all enjoy it. Consort of the Spirits, after Ntozake Shange. There are road maps in my great-grandmother's braids. She keeps seeds in there too, because where we are going, home must come with us. Tell me how your mother hides spices in the hem of her skirt, tucks hymns behind her ears, and calls it packing for tomorrow. Do the women in your family hide rose water in their saliva, sage in between their thighs? Because how dare we sleep on strange land without blessing? There are black-eyed peas in my auntie's coin purse. She keeps moonlight in there too, because luck is far more precious than loose change. Tell me how your sister folds indigo leaves between her toes, smuggles cotton flowers under her arms, and promises that where we are going, there will be color. Do the women in your family wrap beeswax around their ring fingers, tuck matchsticks in their collarbones, and promise that we will never know darkness? I carry a cowrie shell in the crook of my arm. It sings when my twins are near. I wear sea glass upon my ears because where we are going, there will be music. They call this survival, but we know better. Where there is a woman, there is magic. They call this survival, but we pack what we must because what we return to may no longer be ours. They call this survival, but this ritual of making to leave before knowing where we're headed is how we birth futures. They call this survival, but the body is a compass, and we are each other's destination. Thank you. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our feature for this evening. Dante Clark, aka DONBLAK, is a native of Richmond, California. He captures the complexities of being vulnerable within Black masculinity while governed by a society of white supremacy and hyperviolence against Black youth. In 2008, he co-founded an arts collective called Raw Talent, Richmond Artist With Talent. In 2013, he published a co-written play entitled Tay's Harmony, which documents Richmond youth while making parallels to Romeo and Juliet, also documented in the film Romeo Is Bleeding, and was executively produced by Russell Simmons on All Deaf Digital in 2017. Dante is featured in a film titled Kicks, 2016, and in 2018, he co-starred in 2 seasons of The North Pole Show, a political comedy about gentrification in Oakland, California. His first collection of poetry, No Freedom, was published. Oops, sorry, the bio got cut off. And his most recent book, Closed Caskets, was recently published and is available at the MoAD bookstore. And with that, I'd like to invite Dante up to the mic. Welcome.
Peace. Thank you, Nia, for hosting this space. Thank you for everybody that, can y'all hear me good? Y'all can hear me cool?
Yeah,
Thank you for,
we can't see you.
yeah, I'm gonna do this one offline, but yeah. So I appreciate y'all for allowing me to speak, for being here. Everybody that shared, it always feels good to just close my eyes and just listen to the rhythms, the words, the images, because the way I hear is I have to picture what is being said in my mind before I can fully feel and understand. So this has been a gift and a blessing for me as a listener on how people choose to present themselves. So as was stated, I'm a poet from Richmond, California. I over the past 10, 13 years, I've been writing poetry, writing music, overcoming some of my own fears as far as like what message it is that I want to put out there into the world, and how I want the world to receive me, and coming from where I come from. Overcoming some of those fears was just actually putting out a book. You know, I wanted to put out a collection of poetry when I was 17 years old, when I realized that, wow, I thought that I would be dead by 15. So when I made it to 16 and 17, it's like, wow, I might actually be graduating from high school. And at that point is when I really started taking my education or what career I would want to do serious. Because at the time it was like, well, if I ain't dead, I'm gonna go to the streets. You know what I mean? Because that's what was all around me. Even though a lot of my friends and my peers was planning to go to college in an after school program, but I had other friends and family members who was in the streets. So I was like, wow, well, I don't think I'm gonna go to college, so I'm gonna just go to the streets, and I might can make it with this writing thing. Who knows? And around 17, I thought about it like, well, if I started writing, I would love to publish a book. And somebody told me then, like, oh, you know, you could self-publish. They got tools online where you can do it yourself. So at 17, my idea was like, all right, cool. Instead of going to the streets and hustling, you know what I mean? I'm gonna write some poems, print it up, and then I'm gonna sell it to all of my teachers and educators that's here at this program who gonna help fund my writing career. And once I started writing poetry, I was afraid. I didn't think that my writing was strong enough because, you know, a lot of people was telling me that I had to go to certain schools and certain programs to get solidified and validated as a writer to be successful as a published author. So that kind of like hindered me from wanting to put out my work in a published format. And I just started writing a lot and just sharing. But that helped me become better as a storyteller live than on page. So some of these pieces that I'm about to perform is going to be from the collection of my first book, No Freedom. And some is going to be from this collection, Closed Caskets. And I don't really like to introduce too much, but I just wanted to give, you know, a quick little backstory of that. And forgive me if I jump around from piece to piece to piece, but I got a few pieces, quite a few pieces that I'm gonna jump into, and I'm gonna try to do it as seamless as possible. So y'all just bear with me. We cool? All right. This piece right here is called Prophecy. We've hasted through fires that the South sent after our feet. Unintentionally carried the flames of Mississippi burning with us on our exodus trail of tears up north and westbound, covered in the ash of Jim Crow, with a smudge of smoke seeping into our lungs, crawling through our veins and hardening its thick coat onto our blood. Our children, birthed with a mark that's profitable for persecution. The Bible speaks of these prophecies. If you ask me how I feel, I probably smile and tell you fine. And then you'll just walk away satisfied, not knowing that I was lying. Not knowing that I was hiding behind this grin on my face with these evil thoughts running through my mind. Waking up every day, wanting to get away, just thinking and wishing I wasn't alive. You see, I try to stay tough. I keep my head up, but get fed up and ask why. The hell I go through so much, it seems like I'm feeling that life. Man, how and what I'm feeling at times is too difficult for me to describe. But let's just say it's a mixture of anger and hate, happiness, smiles and cries. Joy, frustration, self-esteem is my complication on why I can't succeed and be all that I can be. Pursue the things that we call dreams because I don't think that I have it in me. Sometimes I feel alone, don't have a place to go to or call home. You see, I go left because I can't get right. I sit stagnant like I have no backbone. Man, I love the thought of peace and quiet, but at times can act a beast. I'm violent because all the emotions that runs through me gets my temperature rising. I done held so much in, it gets to a point that I may explode without realizing. How I feel, you ask? Oh, me, I'm just fine. But I only say that to see if you really cared enough to read between the lines and all the signs that shows when a person is hurting inside. But then again, you probably knew about me and kept on with your life and never thought about me twice. Like life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. Piece of me is trying to piece together a piece of mind. Like whatever piece of mind is fine, you know, unless what I find by design don't provide me peace of mind, you see. Peace of mind is peace of mind. My mind want peace of minds to come back, way back before that trap black. This piece of my mind been out, lined in black, the darkest hue of the pack black, that dirt kneeled in the thirst field, work first before us to feed off their scraps like life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. I'm a walking prayer, Negro spiritual. Cry from a broken heart that bleeds obsidian. Trying not to be a cup of bitter sip on bare table absent of soul food. In a kitchen out of reach from grandma's hands. In some trap house, section 8 miles away from life that's living. No, I want to empty out. Be baptized in honey and drip for eternity. For eternity, for 4 eternities. Like life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. Like being born black, bearing blues by brothers buried beneath bridges, burned bodies belittled before becoming better, beyond broken, but believing. Because brotherhoods build beautiful bonds, bypassing bullies, brutes, Billy bats, beating blacks back, bone breaking, burdened by balancing books, bullets, bricks, bearing blocks blown by bombs, billowing blues, Billy Blue before, back bust boy, cotton brung benefits be barely breathing. Between blitz, brought by Babylonians, Baphomets, biopics, be blackberries, be blackberries, be blackberries bent below bulky branches, bruh, life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my 2 feet planted. Yeah, well, it's more like I'm stranded. Been wilding out with Knicks holding a cannon. Blood on my kicks betwixt this life of scamming. I'm corner store gambling. We between my teeth, I'm scamming, corner store, gambling. Life sings me sweet songs. I would love to. I'm standing before noon with Blackbirds, tunes, clean curbside. Mad Circle, Chesley, 5th Street, burial site, us for loitering here. Blood and liquor spill out us, bronze vessels tattooed with ghetto gospels, gold teeth smiling past hurt, bullet scars left across my kernel. Yeah, I live where we die. You can't hide when death walk, we be outside, hanging, still, camp close with our tribe, slurred speech, families tied back 60 years before crack, before being black was us, damned we are, with peace of minds as yours reap, loose sleep, drink this week, what gains for our claims, besides prisons, barred, triggered, beat down, work cord, cracked our crown, hero in attempts to free, dumb minds, trap babies, blamed us for hell's heat, for poverty's leash around our neck, milk our pockets, white flight, your college, yeah. Sun rays ourselves, bruised root, fright, well for jail. They sell free labor still here. Like supposedly some say that the sweet silence and spiritual scourgings to starve out the source of our stupidity. That the scraping of sin and savagery soaked in our skin and somehow the set services of a southern system sustained as slavers. Self-said superiors as acceptable servants. Said to slave, seed to seed, season to season, shore to shore, slaves. Saved by slave ship. That's something scary, huh? It's such a sad story and a surplus of suffering for the swarthy. So my strongest suggestions to you students is to stay strapped. I mean, sharp, smart, stand tall, sturdy, and speak seldomly. I say sometimes sacrificing speech saves the sheep from the suffer of the sickle. Sometimes separating self from show off, showboating, and such silliness may salvage some sewage soul. Sometimes surrounded by silhouette of sinking ships and sharp shooters shooting the 7.62 shore. Some say it's safe to slip through the shadows, sidestepping snares and study. Just stay studying, yet studying don't solve sorrows. And scratching surfaces, shucking and stuttering, slumped shoulders sounds like straight sucker shit. I mean, stupid. Shucking and stooping for stipends and statues are now suspended. So I say stand straight. Yeah, stand straight. Stay solid. If study, then study scripture. 7 sunsets straight, seeking the sure shalom of Shiloh. I say life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. Somewhere in America, my 2 feet are Nike shoelaced on jaded. Sidewalks of crisscross rhythm with proverbs, scriptures, and psalms to y'all are him printed on my heart. They are patterned to the blues that jazz and auntie shoes. Here, we overstepped last night's news of blood spills where life in its earliest years slips in cracks and pits of ghetto bellies. Hunger cling to ribcage, fifth and chesty liquor swallow. Hennessy, tears dropped on vacant lots. Maybe a rose or two will grow from the asphalt, slanted, clipped petals, crimson dip. Because when thugs cry bloodshed, yeah, we do. The streets will do that to you. We be somewhere in America, folded wide in the pockets of court cases when white men in black gowns gavel, racist sightings in silence. You sit there, clenched teeth, seek with grief and cry when 12 strangers, all who favor the disciples of a white God, hang niggas with a life sentence with prideful stares that tap dance a glance from the abyss of a blue-eyed sea. See, I see y'all see me as a life sentence. Yeah, yes, you do. That's what I heard. I heard my skin, my nose, my sis, my bros, you count as your foes, a byword, like black, like black be me, like I ain't the soil, like this blood, ruby red, jewel post ain't royal. What, you think I ain't somewhere in America? A full shoulder with the burden sacked across my back, sacked like nowhere for higher plight, eyesight's nowhere for higher, like, do you know where for higher? Beside county, beside state, beside the federal numbers across my breastplate, beside the thick stake of debt and the breath take of the after nights when we have to fight against everything. Because somewhere in America, there are childs left behind to daily bread, molded crumbs as gums, beg me and my pennies for Denny's instead of the Most High's mercy. They thirsty to starving, living waters, Garden of Eden, fruit be best without heathens, misleading, someone's the evil knowing shit. Where you going, my nigga? Somewhere in America. I go to find me some freedom somewhere in America. Whitey says I free and I believe him. Can't leave him here. No. It ain't the best of things to do. Go home to the motherland for what? It's fine. Right here in his zoo. Ooh. What's left with you? Don't you know no right? Man, I was okay with anything we get, loans, eyes, and equal to the whites, but not like this, all kinky head and dirty, like, yikes. Be me for what? What's special about me as I be? As I be me, I guess nowhere but grave. Engraved picture on a shirt. Facetious white Jesus left me dead in a church somewhere in the South. Television sold me. A television of lies, convenient for the couch, anything to entertain your mind, control how you think. Oh, you think, because you think. Who told you that? Who told you that freedom was somewhere in America? Because I's been thumbs up, side road hiking, college paper typing, 2 jobs, overnighting, overtraining, Tyson fighting, and biting my way through the holy fields, and I ain't seen it. Somewhere in America. Poor people are penny pinching and panhandling prayers for per diem. Prefer pushing and peddling, prostituting, to participate in purchase in the presence of presence to pass time. A pathological pathway of the proud, from peasant to pedestal. You know, it's the pain of people who pretentiously post photos of prized possessions, paper, pendants, Porsches, and pistols, the perpetual penury of particular parenting that preludes to peak popping and parking lot pimping, a plethora of portraits from Parkchester to Philadelphia, Patron pouring, parading poison to the preteens while police patrolling. These project parties are a paradigm of pagan pandemoniums. You know, pose as positive, pretending pretty, preach prolific, but be petty. We be so petty, proclaiming peace with no prosperity. We say protest, till pop by projectile, pop, pause, then protest. You know, this must be the prey of politics, performers of propaganda, the pupils of predictive programming, and pages and pages and pages of paragraphs, papers by poets and professors, philosophizing and pleading against mass promotion of the piercing parables of our poverty. They say pain for profits, perhaps. Anyhow, it's just my personal perspective from the piece. You know, one day I was walking on my way to a youth speech workshop and he pulled out a gun. It was 3 of them against me on a busy Frisco street and time's ticking. You know, I say, should I grab his gun? Because if I do, I gotta shoot, you know, smack all 3 of them. But if I walk away, chances are he might shoot me, you know, shoot me till I'm dead. Then for some reason, I turn into the streets between stopped cars and I walk calmly. He calls me out my name. They don't shoot, but my ego made me wish I had. But we all survived that day. I walked to Youth Speaks late with the thoughts of MLK. And I wanted to bring the noise. I wanted to bring the noise. I wanted to bring the noise. I wanted to, bring the noise, you know, because I was thinking the thoughts that trauma teachers are thinking. I realized that they're trying to train those of us as thoroughbred to talk tersely and timid, to teeter. Teeter till teetering teaches us to traipse to the third trace of toddler, to be tripping and tumbling 10,000 times till we're tossed over to the tangle of taunting tales that's told to us about their tenacious taboos, the tragic traffic that track list, the torture that's tattooed in the thrust and trials, trekking with tribulations, always there to twist and touch the torsos of us talented 10, the targeted, the 10 toes of the toughest teenagers traumatized from the terrible tactics that the tyrannical task force used to tame us by torch. They're attempting to tear through our time. There's too many teachers, Steve, in the temples. Taken to the temples, be tilted, tired of tithing. This piece be tipped to them, to the tongue-tied, tied ticks that's tricking the people to trap and trample out their treasures. Trash to the totality of the treacherous pterodomes. These are tasteless territories that the thugs tend to. There be telephones that telephone the tirade of toxic tears. That's truism. That's truism. The typical thinking, the thoughts that trauma teaches are thinking. You know, we go through total turmoil just to tell our tribal testimony through these telephones. When life sings me sweet songs, I said I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. You know, sometimes I'll be driving 2 hours to the south countryside of California. And beneath the morning clouds, I was standing one day in the rain, in red mud, with the white man at the back of his pickup truck, helping him unload his box of pistols and rifles and bullets for a day of shooting targets. You know, the metal discharge and fire, the projectile through flesh of blue paper, the taste of gun smoke and wet rocks that catch the wind. And I started to record my pistol play on the phone, but I said, nah. Nobody needs to see that I've been out here shooting. Because if it ever come a time for me to be shooting, whoever I'm shooting at gonna know for sure that I'm pretty good at shooting. You know, then after a full day of pistol play and driving back to where phones get service, you are alerted to the buzz and vibration of missed messages and voicemails. You skim through the names as you drive and wonder why so many calls, you know. You make a mental note to call back later on, then calls come ringing again. Some calls be back-to-back, too many from one. Some names who don't often call too much anyway, so you answer. And sometimes on this type of call, it be your sister who be calling and tell you about that thing again, you know. That thing about somebody killing somebody else in Richmond, and have you heard? Only this time, that somebody else is that somebody you love who somebody had just killed. So you cry with too much roll back home before you, with the type of music that puts you in all of the feelings for not having no feelings about killing, and your mind is turning like the speeding tires you speed with, and your hands are remembering its full day of pistol play, and you say to yourself, ooh, this song right here hits different. This next piece is about a time that I spent with my nephew, and it's called Simba. You know, I'm chilling with my nephew one day. We in a deep conversation about manhood. Nephew say, "Uncle, why you got all that hair on your face?" I'm like, "Cause I don't want to have no naked booty face like you." Nephew, puzzled by my response, then retorts, "Ain't no naked booty on my face. You know, you look like Simba off the Lion King." So I'm like, and so who you look like? Nephew tell me, I'm Tony the Tiger. Grr. So I'm cracking up, right? Looking down at him on the sidewalk. Oh, cause your name Tony? Nephew looking up at me like, duh. And then I noticed his attention was on my hair. Uncle, how many dreads you got? So I try to think back to an answer I used to know, and I'm like, man, I ain't really sure. Not that many though. Nephew ain't satisfied though at all at my answer. He blurts out with all of his body, well, you about to find out. Count them right now too. Now I'm taken back at his little force and how serious his eyes are about knowing this number of my locks on my head. So I decided to see what would happen if I told him, nah, bro, I don't feel like it. And as suspected, he stepped in closer with his right hand raised into a fist, eyes locked on me, and say so comically, you gonna count them right now or I'ma sock you? I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm counting my locks, right? And I'm like, man, I got 117 locks, nephew. So nephew stood there, then waited and looked on while I circled my head, counting and recounting my locks just to make sure it was 117, just for him to tell me, now cut them off. And your mustache too. So I'm start cracking up, right? Because the thought of him punking me has gone on for far long enough. And I gather my laugh into a fake, serious, clenched jaw and bend down to his level with my eyes squinted. And I say, look here, little dude, you either gonna be Simba, who becomes a king, or you could be one of them sissy, naked, booty-faced hyenas that Simba beats up. You pick a side. His fist unravels, his eyes widened, and he shook his head in disbelief. Almost in a stutter, nephew said, I don't want no naked booty on my face, uncle. With his words being musically pleasing to my eyes and a great laugh tossing around in my stomach, I looked at him twirling his fingers, just hoping that I would relieve him from this image of his imaginative eyes have rested on. I say, now good, bag back. This next piece that I do, it's called which one I want to do? I'm gonna go with this one. Yesterday, I went searching for the rivers of my fathers, and I somehow ended up stopping for small talk at 125th and Lenox. And for quite some while there, we stood, me and the devil, midwinter in America, kicking up angel dust, ghetto style, reminiscing on inner city blues into the first minute in a new day. At that corner, I was left alone wondering, where did the night go? Then once again, something guided me to up my feet to search for the rivers of my fathers, and I somehow ended up slipping, drowning drunk at the bottom of the bottle. Well, usually this is where I fall when I go running from certain things. It still feels like I'm new here, and it's hard to accept that we almost lost Detroit while New York was killing me. Man, I tell you one thing, home is where the hatred is, and part of me and a part of my mind still believes we can save these children. And other parts are wondering, who gonna pay reparations on my soul? My guess is, when you are who you are, peace go with you, brother. I say peace go with you. Think I have time for like one more piece. Which one I want to do? Today I sat across from a Black Panther who spoke with all of the 60s in detail, as vivid and lively as the day was then, with the concert of Black fists raised in the tone of his voice and his eyes, a gaze of sidewalks and state capitol steps stormed with Black boots on the stride of bad brothers with soul sisters, gripping freedom with fingers on triggers and pointed barrels at the flag and its evil and its eagles seeking to dig its claws and crooked teeth into the scalp of our ripened fruit, bud in a Black thought that breathed movement into the hands that held books and warm plates of free breakfast in a newspaper, Black ink written with pigs and righteous rage and the furrowed brows on party people with the love for equal. That's Black as all get out, with palms open and reaching within, reaching wide, reaching for high almighty and not for dollars, not for pockets, not for American pies or seats at white tables, but for ours, for land that looked like us. Before the blood cried out from the roots, and metal pillars held our futures behind them, or the saliva in the belly of swine, hunger at the sirens of pigs, snouting our leaders' trail to liberty and eating us all up. These hands will reach, not to steal or loot, but to take. Yeah, to take back all of its power and purpose and people and programs and profits and protecting property, proclaiming power for all of its people in the name of the party. Yeah, today I had sat across from a real Black Panther. And 30 minutes into that conversation, it felt like I had become one. And I say, blessed be all those who fear the strong hand, who are knees to the humble in the face of the dirt, who speak from a rented heart, repenting and lamenting its bones, with lips that are washed with prayers and Psalms of David, seeking the mercy that endures forever. I say, blessed be the mercy that ensures forever. Blessed be the mouth of thanksgiving for the belly that is pleased with its daily bread and the eyes that await the hour of the thief in the night. Blessed be the flame to the oil, the loins of the mind that is girded with faith, and the feet that are quickened to the gospel of peace. I say, blessed be the ears that are pressed to the sky, rejoicing at the coming down of the promised city. Ooh. Say, blessed be the waters of New Jerusalem. I say, life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my... Nah, scratch that. Life is a sweet song. So each move's a dance to loose them bands of my feet. I thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for listening. I know that was a lot to unload, but I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Dante, for that feature. That was incredible getting to hear your work beyond the page, and just the rhythm of your poetry is just blew me away. So thank you. And I just put in the chat a link to buy Dante's book, Closed Caskets. We have it available at the MoAD bookstore. And before you leave us, I want to ask if there's any ways that people can continue to support you or find more of your work, and just stay connected. You're welcome to either say it or chat.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ways you can support me is just by one right now is either purchasing my first book, No Freedom, or Closed Caskets. You can buy it on Amazon through Pacific Raven Press, or you can buy it directly from me. You can go support the local herb store in Richmond, California called Naturally Herbs. They got some healthcare products up in there, some naturally herbs that's good for the body. This is not necessarily benefiting me by you going there, but I feel like just passing on that information to my community of how to take care of ourselves naturally and organically. Go stop by the Naturally Herbs store. Tell them I sent you and get some herbs and stuff that's good for your body, good for your mind. What else you could do? As far as me, you could just, keep me in prayer, keep me in your thoughts. Reach out to me on Instagram, DONBLAK, DONBLAK. Reach out to me. Let's tap in. You could text me or call me by phone, 510-253-6352. And my email is Dante Clark at ymail.com. Stay in touch in any way y'all would like to collaborate. Do any type of collaboration as far as open mics, as far as just thinking of ways that we can contribute to our community in any type of way for the youngsters, for those who are incarcerated, those who are returning home. That's how you can support me, is just keep me in the loop of what's going on and how I can be involved. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I can say about that.
Great. Well, thank you. And I hope everyone...
I could put a lot of this in the chat too.
That would be great if you can put some links in the chat for everyone. But again, appreciate your work. And thank you for sharing with all of us.
Surely.
So we're going to move on to our second half of the open mic lineup. And I would like to invite Aquila Lewis Ross to start us off.
Dante, youarethebomb.com. So beautiful. Thank you very, 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 very much. And you're definitely in my prayers. I too know and feel some of the stuff that you're going through. Whew. I'm in the car sitting in the hot sun, or it's kind of hot. The sun's going down where I am. I'm in Las Vegas. I am getting ready to have my 4th year as a mom. My daughter's teeter-tottering in between 3 years old and 3.5, 4 years old. And so I'm definitely learning a lot about this toddler year that people are talking about. So I'm gonna kind of share a little bit about my struggle, because I'm definitely struggling. And I decided yesterday, after talking to a trauma in the arts class, that I'm finally gonna dive into really getting therapy, because I can't do it anymore by myself. Especially now that I'm a mom, and really started to notice that some of the things that my toddler is doing is kind of making me upset, and I'm not really exactly sure what I'm feeling. And I know I don't want to stop some of her growth and whatever. Lots of stuff is going on in my life. So I did participate in the National Poetry Month 30/30. I was really excited about it. I did really excited about day 1 and day 2. And then when I got to day 3, life just really hit me. So I was just mainly writing sentences, because that's all I can really get out. But I participated in an aphrastic poetry event that's going to be the event on Zoom is happening this Saturday. I wanted to share this poem that I wrote. We were asked to write a poem no more than 99 words. So this is the poem that I managed to get out. Sounds the heart makes. Have you ever listened to the sounds the heart make? As my babe snuggles deeply in between realms of sleep and awakeness, soft hums compete with mimicking coos. She was the first to hear the music, like dancing notes on the page. An awaiting orchestra softly plays a lullaby. A forgotten powerful vibration, first heard in the womb. This is love. First loves have completed their cycle. And I'm gonna share one more toddler poem. And then also, I'm kind of shook because someone who was kind of like a donor supporter of mine passed away on the 4th. And I kind of need to write about that experience, because I'm having a hard time with that as well. So toddler cuddles. She's stepping into her own now. Surprise! People warn me about growth spurts, the energy and patience it takes to parent. Mothering sure keeps me on my toes, but I kind of dig how she pushes the envelope, like most great people do. All hail to warrior princesses with fists in the air, who right most things that ain't fair. Practice makes perfect. I used to yearn for perfection, a dream deferred, but 1, 2, 3, 4, slowly enjoying this quick step of her life. Regret has no place here, just love and lots of cuddles. I wipe away tears, dreading when she doesn't need me to wipe hers anymore. And so I have two quick ones, and then I'll be done. Starbursts of freedom. I need to shake out of this funk. Waking up to gratitude seems more like doing chores, and my anger boils. A tea kettle overflows. I can't fake the funk when I'm reminded of powerlessness, but it's really their cowardice. Change direction, like waves gush. We lay our trauma there, yelling as loud as we can, hoping for someone, anyone to hear our call. After carrying the weight of white folks' knees on necks, just look up to the sky and glance at starbursts of freedom. Our ancestors are there waiting, calling us home. But while we're here, don't fake the funk. Sugarcoating, telling tales just to please the man. Tell the babies life's truth, because the land is theirs anyway. And the last one I just wrote while on waiting for my turn to go. Let's see if I can find it real quick. hold on one second. Okay, dang, where's it at? I just wrote it and it's not appearing. Oh, here we go. It's called Love's Call. This is in dedication to a person that supported me and passed on May 4th. For him, I know we all gotta go to the beyond, up yonder, or somewhere beyond this plane. Sometimes I whisper, take me with you. But can loved ones still hear love's call? I received a call from him, not knowing that his words could really touch someone like me, that my family would be healed, maybe get a little closer to see dreams fulfilled. We needed him. He needed me. He needed to find someone to touch, someone to hold, someone to love. And I hope he knows what he did because I didn't get a chance to tell him. Now he floats somewhere beyond, showing love, answering its call. God bless y'all. Also keep me in your prayers. Keep me in your prayers. For real. Take care, y'all.
Thank you so much, Aquila, for sharing all of those pieces and for also calling your friend into this space with all of us. So we're sending our love your way. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Zakia G.E.K. Park. Welcome, Zakia.
Thank you, Carla. So good to be here. Okay, so I would like to share a couple of pieces, new pieces actually. It just disappeared from my screen. Hey, sorry, I had it pulled up and now it's gone, but I will.
Do you want us to circle back to you, Zakia?
Oh yeah, thank you. Could you do that? I'd appreciate that. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Sorry.
Portia Lewis, welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can.
Let me turn my fan on and have it on like all day. All right. So the piece that I'm going to read is called It's All Good. I feel like my mother's home cooking in a house full of people. Loneliness don't live here. TVs, laughter, and bass fill the background. But the memories and the love, they feed my soul. I love more than I ever thought was possible, but even I make mistakes. Gratitude has become intertwined with my DNA. I guess I'll have something to give my seeds one day. Because everything wealthy ain't gotta be material. Born the color of Mother Earth herself, protect the golden pine cone in your crown. Because you special, authentic, and original. So pick up your head and speak your truth. Like you come from the strongest of strong. The babies is watching. All right, that's my piece. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad you've come to Open Mic. Thank you for being here. Zakia, do you have your pieces pulled up?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. Okay. So I'm starting with the piece entitled I Remember. The wisdom I remember. Back home in North Carolina, remembering grandma and grandpa feels like a huge hug that picks me up, spins me around, and never lets me down. I can still smell the delectable aromas emanating from the collard greens, string beans, chicken and dumplings, cornbread, sweet potato pie, and grandma's kitchen. On those sweltering North Carolina days, grandpa would gather me and my sisters on the porch to sample grandma's lemonade, quenching our thirst and listening to the most imaginative, creative stories grandpa ever told. Back when we caught lightning bugs in jelly jars, took long, exaggerated country walks on dirt roads, sat barefoot under the shade of elongated weeping willow trees, fanned dripping, sweaty faces in blistering church pews on Sunday mornings. A small rural town where unconditional love resided in the hearts of the people in the community, replicating the village concept that wrapped me in a cocoon, swaddling, nurturing, protecting, so I could survive to tell the stories from grandma and grandpa's legacy. My next piece is entitled, Those Yesteryears. The years have been long, much too long to remember. The hurtful times encountered in our relationship. But I do remember the beautiful times we shared. Those yesteryears were magical. And in this moment, I want to embrace our life together again. Knowing it is impossible, I cling to those memories and mourn the losing of you. Together eternally. As a child, I did not understand your unrelenting outspokenness, protesting so me and my siblings could attend better schools. I wanted my mother at home safe, not out in the community fighting for school rights. Because I heard the unkind words and saw the hatred in the eyes of white people that wanted to keep Black children out of their schools. Working tirelessly at home with 6 children and holding down a job, you knew the importance of advocating for your family and the community, instilling in us the necessity of education. Your powerful, gentle brilliance continues to guide and fortify my life. It is the mirror that I hold, the blessings that unfold, the wisdom that must be told. Thank you.
Thank you, Zakia, for both of those pieces. Those were really beautiful.
Thank you.
Next up, I would like to invite S.K. Williams. Welcome.
Thank you, Nia. I almost clicked the wrong button and clicked myself off, but I'm still here. Happy Mother's Day to all those that are on here. I'm going to read 3 pieces because I'm really focused right now on motherhood because Mother's Day is coming up. And I think I've shared a couple of pieces where I talked about my my estrangement from my daughter. So Mother's Day is always very hard. But my first piece is going to be dedicated to my first daughter that was a stillbirth. And this piece is called, sorry for all the sadness, but it's, like others have said, it's a hard time. This first piece is called Tiny Footprints on My Heart. I remember that rainy New York City day when you left me, feeling empty. I'd carried you within me, a bountiful load, with tiny hands, head, and heart, and I could feel your love inside of me, overwhelmed by my love for you outside of me. And I knew you, and you knew me, and you gave me a deep comfort within. Your sudden movements like a flutter of you swimming inside, leaving my heart aflutter, and I could feel your power over me. And the depths of my love for you knew no bounds. Even faceless I knew you, only I could know you, as I felt your heart beating within, in rhythm with my own. You and me connected together by so much more than a cord, by our hearts and our longing to know each other without physical connection, a you without me, a me without you. Then you were silent, and I no longer felt your longing and could only hear my heart, beating insistently, sometimes stopping, breathless, waiting for yours to catch up and beat again. But it would not start again. Your heart beating like a tiny rapid drum, making me dance with you inside of me at the happiness for the anticipation of your coming, which you would only do silently. And my dancing stopped, as did your heart, and was replaced by endless tears and emptiness at your leaving, and I thought I would never rise again after I'd fallen, once I'd let you go. But only you know that you left to make way for another whom I could love as much as I'd loved you forever, one who could stay and lead me on my way to motherhood and an undying and deep friendship, love, and connection. And even though you were gone, you had left an indelible mark of your tiny footprints on my heart. That's the first one. The second poem is about womanhood and aging, and it's called What We Do for Beauty. I wrote this poem probably 4 years ago that I performed at a women's event in Richmond. This one is called What We Do for Beauty. What we do for beauty and what beauty has done to us. My body turned inside out, upside down, and against me. I'm not free to allow the gravity to achieve its natural end, to bend my body with time. I place sublime faith in the search for eternal youth. Creams to clog the pores to fight the wages of war from afar, sent to me with love of my money, from far off chemical labs foreign to my soul, and countless others I can ill afford to enter my skin, my brain, my mind, to poison the natural impulse filled with empty promises of the elusive fountain of youth. As I age brutally and stare fearfully at the second hand of the clock, ticking away the moments of my life, rushing me to the brink of ancient, and away from beauty, closer to beast, with sagging skin and breast, moving me from woman to witch to hag, to cast away to the edge of the world, and alone. A place to which I hurtle quickly, clinging to the definition of beauty, the void of respect, of love, of nature, of woman, of mother, of gravity, of womb, of birth, of time, of love, of love. Tick, tick, ticking away, I glance into the mirror of my soul, searching for the beauty deep within that rebels against the image of me as thing, as object, not of art, but of prey. Today, I cradle the woman child in my arms, against a breast and womb that are losing the battle against gravity and time, that exhibit the evidence of her existence within. And with pride and a sense of accomplishment, I glance at this evidence, and joy, and love for her presence in my world, in my heart, and discard the images of flat, colorless, lifeless mannequins that inhabit my brain. Embracing the full-bodied Aquaba, Minona, Musocoroni, with flowing breasts that embodies my being and become one with gravity, nature, and time. The sublime mother that is me. This is the image my daughters must have of me, that will arm them against the onslaught of beauty that they, as young, beautiful Black girls, will encounter in this life. My last piece is dedicated to my grandmother, who was an awesome, awesome woman who died a long time ago, but over the last 6 months or so, she's been in my heart and in my soul. Her name was Stella Simeona Mejia Zuniga, and I dedicate this poem to her. My grandmother's hands. My grandmother's hands were magic. They birthed and raised her 14 children and raised them almost to adulthood. My grandmother's hands were magic. They wiped my tears away and folded me into her many pleated skirts. My grandmother's hands were magic because they created the music that made me dance with lyrics that came from my very own life. My grandmother's hands were magic. They chased my fears away. My grandmother's hands were magic. They threw the mattress over my father when my mother rushed at him with a knife. My grandmother's hands were magic. They covered all her own tears, so we would not know how many there actually were. My grandmother's hands were magic. They held everything together so that we could just be. My grandmother's hands were magic. They shielded us from the bitterness of blackness and garifunanes and made us think only of the innocence of childhood. My grandmother's hands were magic. They protected everyone she loved so they could feel enough love to leave her behind. With all her pain, which she wrapped around herself to hide herself from all her woes, from which she had protected us through all the years. My grandmother's hands were magic for everyone else but herself. She died living outside herself, her hands empty and alone. And that's what I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, SK, for all three of those pieces and just the dedications to them and celebrating all that it is to be a woman, to be a mother. So thank you for those pieces.
Thank you.
Next up, I would like to invite Rita Mikel. Welcome, Rita.
Greetings. Thanks to everyone. I'm poetry hopping tonight. I left one poetry event to get to another here, and just so thankful to be among poets and word conjurers and artists to just share. This is I'm going to take on, I'm looking for this piece. Oh my God, here it come. So some of you may have heard this piece, but it is a piece that I wrote about. I know it's Mother's Day coming up, but just understand that the wife was in the background listening as her husband told his story about coming home after World War II. And this is also regarding how some things just haven't seemed to change or have been in a certain state. And then I'll end with something lighter. Breaking bread, burden remembered. At the Center for African American Arts and Culture, an 84-year-old African American World War II vet, husband, father, thin, tall, frail, lean, and weary-eyed, shares his experience coming home after the war. We was proud young colored men who fought, died, risked life and limb to defend this country. We did it in the name of freedom. This US of A sent us to the front lines to protect this country against Nazis. America said they had committed crimes against humanity. Nazis did to the Jews what the KKK and others have done to us, except they use different killing methods. We thought if we defeated this enemy, if we could prove ourselves good American soldiers, fight for American ideals, pledge allegiance to this flag, one nation under a God, we'd be seen as equal. There'd be no difference between us and the white Americans. When we got news, the war was over. Blood, bowel, flesh, blown, stench, still stuck in the hairs of our nose. We went from battlefields to barracks, clean up, wait for buses to take us to the train station. Coloreds, whites, all cheering, shouting, crying, shell-shocked, segregated. We wait, pay it, no, never mind. Just want to get on that train, sit down to a hot meal, and go home to what's left of our families. We're alive, we survived. Train whistle blows, slows to a stop, steam, heat, bellowing out beneath its belly, stirring cool air, ghost-like, trying to warn us of something. Military guards signal us to board. Coloreds help one another. War behind us, hungry, we walk toward the dining car when out of nowhere, a large white US soldier blocks our path, stops us, legs spread, bayonet in hand, orders us to stand down. Tells us, disobey my order, and you will be court-martialed. Tell us, find a seat, the kitchen will be bringing your food to you. We lose our appetite. Look at one another, grow numb, ask ourselves, why in the name of God did this have to happen? We were proud colored soldiers, lost life, family, eyes, and limbs to defend this country, but this country still could not break bread with us. Hours pass, train makes another stop, picks up several troops of captured Nazis. Guess they were hungrier than us because they marched them past us into the dining car like we weren't even there. Like we were the enemy, like we caused the Holocaust, like we experimented on Jews without anesthesia, branding them like cattle, killed millions in ovens, placed them in front of firing squads, dumping them into mass graves, fed them Nazis in the dining car. Regardless of the US government telling us Nazis had committed crimes against humanity. They break bread with them, but not with us. Feed them Nazis hot food and make us wait outside the dining car for cold sandwiches. What did we fight for? We killed for America, lost life, family, eyes, and limbs to defend America. Do white Americans serve other whites no matter how vile they act? What is this white man's story? Brother elder that breaks, water-swollen eyes roll tides into mine as I take note. The war didn't end, it moved. And that's that one. And then, and I'll end on a lighter note. It's a little, might be a little, oh, here it is. Time has come for all to sow seed, smoke weed, get high, ride or die, the soldier to get over the BS. The wounded confess, Chi-Town is what it is, a gold-plated hamster wheel dialing for fiat ends, defending the roof that's on fire. Should we let this burn? The concern is biophobia, the fear of life. To hell with the 40 days and 40 nights. What? I said it. Y'all hear them tales going on? James Brown said this is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. The ark is this covenant. Scared? Life comes with a price called the cost to live. Rewind. Did Big Daddy make his son pay for our sins? Which mark was missed? War? What is it good for? Decking necks with bowels of folly? Fa la 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 la. Sticks and stones breaking bones and thrones, manufacturing genocide, destroying homes. Y'all know it's time to sow seed, grow and smoke weed. Get high, ride or die. Get over, soldier. Who said we ain't got to study war no more? We told them, get your head out your ass, inhale the grass. Woo! Yep. That was a little wild.
We love
But
it.
I had fun. Okay, I had to lighten it up.
Thank you so much for both of those pieces. It's always a joy to hear you.
Thank you.
And to close us out this evening, I would like to invite Avacha to the mic. Welcome.
Hey, you know, what can I say? You folks, wow, you folks, that's all I can say. And Dante knows, I've been one of his fans since he was a little teeny bopper. And now he's just baby man, you are still one of my greatest heroes. And for folks, you know, when we get kind of jaded and think that, you know, it's over, then you have a youngster come like he did years and years and years ago. Let us know we're in good hands. Thank you so much, brother man, for who you are and what you did. Okay, I'm gonna try and do these two. This is from my book, With Every step I take, which is going to be reprinted very shortly here. And it's called Elixir of Nzinga. Armies sailed oceans riding inside the indescribable waves of my uncontrollable tears, my tears, transplanted African tears, the spice that put the soul in soul food, the inescapable key, our spiritual fuel, the diet that fired up Chief Osceola caused the Seminole Wars, legalized slave traders, stealing his wife was the real reason. Stealing his soulmate, his woman, the final straw. It was my tears. My tears fed hundreds of invisible conductors on the ever-moving underground railroad, from quiet Quakers to the loud fervor of John Brown, to the proud, invisible determination of that beautiful, no-quitting sister, Harriet Tubman. My African tears. Fed on, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, swallowed and digested and converted all that pain, that terrible weight, that inhumane burden, that hole in the soul, the secret of our heat and our cool when society stone cold. Strong healing waters in Nzinga's elixir. Stronger than dread, put a damper on the handcuffs of fear and cleansed and freed our hearts and fed our souls from Suriname to Trinidad to Curaçao to Ain't No Stopping Us Now, Mississippi. Fueled Jamaica's Granny Nanny, El Negro Falucho in Argentina, Colombia, Benco Biojo de Palenque, and Haiti's Toussaint Louverture. We swam through hell on that ocean of tears at times. The sorrow so loud, even the night screamed and the clouds cried and the rain fell down from the sky, red with blood. These tears have irrigated millions of acres of cotton, coffee, yucca, breadfruit, and sugarcane. They've seasoned your grandma's greens, Titi's finger-licking lechon, Uncle Lalo's curried shrimp. They are in the sweet taste of flan and callaloo and every piece of coconut bread and all the wheat that you eat. These tears have followed you from the favelas in Brazil to Haiti's lavalas, fertilized the anger hidden behind the tired smiles and every after-hour juke joint in Cantinas del Solar and Bob Marley's mysticism and Estevanico's so-called discoveries and Beethoven's remarkable symphonies, La Bomba Borinqueña of Don Rafael Cepeda and the deceptive revelry of Batucada and Mardi Gras, ain't no secret. David Walker, Dandara and Sumbia Palmadas got drunk on my tears. I say it was my tears that quenched the furious thirst of Nat Turner and put the power behind all those funny jokes, comedy, a costume, a disguise, a clever shield, the acceptable watery mask of Moms Mabley and Richard Pryor, and Nzinga's elixir. Nzinga's elixir, a transplanted medicine, a metaphorical, metaphysical ladder. These tears lifted our souls, lubricated the throats of Marcus Garvey and Fannie Lou Hamer, energized the creative will of Arturo Schoenberg, and the Schoenberg Museum grew up on the hard-earned roots on the foundation of historical bricks formed by years of tears. And Nzinga's elixir, our tears, our sacred tears, wherever we go, we have taken you with us every single day, each and every day. I say each and every day, every stitch of my clothes is wet with my crying for you. You are our soul food, the key to our mystique. You are our fuel, Africa. You have covered the whole world swimming in our tears, singing and dancing and praying and laughing in our tears. But I wonder, Mama, Africa, will you ever, have you ever cried for us? Sometimes I say, I feel like a motherless child, a long, 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 long way from my home. Anyway, this next one is called Daughters of the Drum. It's dedicated to International Women's Music Camp that happened every year until the pandemic got in our way. And so hopefully that can happen again. For some folks that seem to think that women can't play drums, I mean, what can I say? Women come from all over the world for this festival, and so I dedicate this to women born to drum, women's music camp. It's in Spanglish, you should get the message. We were born to drum. Somos hijas rítmicas. We were conceived in rhythm, whether we knew it or not, or wanted it or not, it was. And has always been about upholding la clave en el alma, the beauty and sanctity of the rhythm that created us. The rhythm that is us. Somos el latido de la naturaleza, the rhythm of our mother's labor pains announced our coming, and it's always the rhythm of our breathing that lets the world know we're alive. Míralo. Bellas fuerzas místicas, pero picosas, feel it. We walk and sing, pray, dance, and cry in it. Every single word that flows out of our mouths is a rhythmic declaration of our presence. Somos la esencia de la rumba, and even our sacred mother nature dances rhythmically through the seasons every single year. Keeping the rhythm of our lives in balance, our universe is an inescapable symphony, ritmos sagrados, held together by vibration, by the sound of the sum of us, the always right on time, magical, rhythmical timelessness of us. Somos la fiebre apasionada de la rumba, the heart of bebop and kubop was born in us. It's creation's gift to us. Somos el corazón del tambor, born in the womb of creativity and undeniable rhythm personified. Wake up, world. Wake up, world. Míralo. Listen, we are your children, and we were born to drum. I'm going to put our poetry series in the chat, and please support MoAD. There's no place like it, and I can't wait until we can finally be back in the place again. Thank you for listening to my words.
Thank you so much, Avacha, for your words, for your storytelling, for your wisdom, and for always, bringing that call to support the museum. I really appreciate it, and just how you build community. And so I want to thank everyone also just for being a part of this space, everyone who's read, everyone who's been an active listener. Thank you, Dante, again, for being our feature. It was absolutely wonderful to hear your poetry. So I encourage everyone to continue coming to our programs. This is one of many series that we're doing at the museum. As Avacha said, if you are able to donate to the museum to help sustain our programming, we do encourage that. Elizabeth's sharing information now. You can either do so through our website, which is MoAD SF, or by texting 56512 and typing MoAD SF. And lastly, we do ask if you have any feedback, if you can just take a few moments to fill out our program survey. We do appreciate hearing from you and knowing how to, generate new programming to support our communities. So I hope to see you all again in 2 weeks. Our next open mic will be on May 20th, and our own Norm Maddox will be our feature. So very much looking forward to that and hope you can all join us. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you all. Thank you. Have a beautiful night.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you, everybody.
Thank everyone.